Like
No
you was
kitchen.
going crazy in that month.
Yeah, I went crazy.
I'm not the same person.
New footage just hit the internet, and it's got T.I. and Gucci Mane caught up in a wild moment nobody saw coming. Something always felt off between the OG and his former artist, but this new clip, it's got everybody talking. Let's break down exactly what went down. So check this. Back in mid-January 2026, Gucci Mane got robbed out in LA. They took his wedding ring and his luxury watch.
Actually, Gucci Mane was just robbed recently in, they say it was in LA. I know that, I don't know if you got to see the whole Gucci Mane Pooh Shiesty beef that's been going on.
Sources all over the streets is saying the people behind it was somehow connected to T.I. and his crew. That's when things started getting real messy.
He was just robbed for his wedding ring and his watch. And they say Pooh Shiesty might allegedly have something to do with it, but they're not sure. But apparently him and Pooh Shiesty had a meeting in LA. And the meeting was over Pooh Shiesty trying to get off the 1017 label.
It all popped off after a private meeting in Los Angeles. Gucci Mane and Pooh Shiesty linked up to talk about Shiesty's contract situation with 1017 Records. Shiesty was ready to dip from the label, but Gucci wasn't trying to let that happen. The meeting wrapped up on tense vibes, and just minutes later, word is a crew pulled up on Gucci.
Cuz got robbed for his wedding ring and his fucking watch. Losing his shit right the fuck now. I'm not saying what city he got robbed in or nothing like that.
Now here's how people are saying it went down. Shiesty rolled into the meeting with his whole squad, ready to make a statement. The convo about the contract heated up fast, voices were raised, and things got tense quick. Shiesty was pushing Gucci hard to sign those release papers. Gucci eventually signed, and Shiesty and his crew bounced out. But just a few minutes after they left, another group rolled up, took his wedding ring, snatched his watch, and disappeared into the night. It was quick, bold, and had everyone in shock. Now, the link between Shiesty and the crew that ran up on Gucci is still just alleged, nothing proven yet.
Of course, Gucci Mane's like, hell no. And apparently it was like one of those Vanilla Ice Suge Knight situations where Pooh Shiesty pretty much walked in there and was like, yo, look, you gonna sign this shit. We gonna make sure you sign this shit.
There's no footage of the actual robbery, no police reports out in the open, and no one's officially claiming responsibility. But that timing, though, it's got everybody side-eyeing the whole thing. Think about it. The meeting ends, Shiesty dips, and right after that, Gucci gets robbed. People aren't calling that a coincidence. That's when blogger Tasha K jumped in and dropped some serious heat. She claimed Gucci Mane wasn't just robbed, she said he was kidnapped by T.I. himself.
And apparently Shiesty was with some people and they made him sign it over. And then after they left, they say within minutes, a group of alleged some gangbangers rolled in there and relieved Gucci Mane of some jewelry.
And forced at gunpoint to sign away his rights from a deal she called Death Row Records 2.0. That claim alone set social media on fire. Tasha's Death Row 2.0 comment hit deep because of what it referenced, the old Death Row Records empire that Suge Knight ran back in the day. That label had a reputation for being ruthless, full of controversy, and tied to a lot of wild stories from the 90s. People instantly made the comparison, saying the energy around this new situation felt way too similar. And that's what made the Suge Knight talk hit different. Suge was known for using pure intimidation to lock down contracts. Street legends still talk about it. The most famous story? The one where Vanilla Ice allegedly got hung over a hotel balcony until he signed over his royalties. So when people started throwing Gucci and T.I. into that same kind of mix, the internet exploded. Whether that wild story really happened or it's just hood folklore, one thing's for sure, it's become legendary. People started drawing direct lines between how Shiesty handled things and how Suge Knight used to move back in the day. That comparison had everyone talking. And get this, the ice that got taken wasn't no cheap bling. Gucci's wedding ring alone was worth over $200,000, and the watch, a high-end Patek Philippe, tagged at over $300,000. Some insiders even claimed the total loss, counting cash and other valuables, could have hit somewhere between $2 to $3 million. That's a major hit even for someone like Gucci. Now here's the part that really turned heads. Gucci wasn't moving solo that day. He had security with him, and not just any crew, real protection. But word is, the dudes who ran up were fully strapped and came ready for war. Gucci's team didn't stand a chance. They were outgunned from the start. And still, not a single police report has popped up publicly. No warrants, no official suspects, nothing. That silence only made the rumors sound even louder. Before long, the story took over the blogs, the timelines, and every hip-hop outlet you can name. Even without proof, the details were just too specific. The pricey jewelry, the perfect timing right after that tense meeting, and the whispers about T.I.'s crew possibly being tied to it. Still, some people started calling cap on the whole situation, saying the streets just love a scandal. But others, they're convinced there's way more to it than anyone's admitting. The comments flying around social media were wild. Some people weren't buying any of it, but others were straight up convinced something real went down. One person even wrote, "Ain't no Crips running up on Gucci Mane," basically saying Gucci's too connected, too respected, and way too tapped into the streets for anyone to try him like that. But others fired back, reminding everyone that respect and reputation don't stop bullets. Whether the robbery went down exactly as told or not, it marked a major split between Gucci Mane and Pooh Shiesty. It's crazy when you think about it. Just a year before, Gucci was riding hard for Pooh Shiesty, using his name and power to push for Shiesty's release from the feds. But now, word on the block is that Shiesty either helped plan or at least allowed the hit to happen. That's a brutal twist in what used to be one of the tightest bonds in the game. Their relationship used to be built on nothing but loyalty and opportunity, a real mentor and protege type of thing. Gucci believed in Shiesty's potential, gave him his big break with 1017 Records, and treated him like the future of the label. He didn't just hand him a record deal, he invested his time, his money, and his reputation to make Shiesty shine. Shiesty, whose real name is Lontrell Williams Jr., came up out of Memphis, Tennessee, repping that raw Southern energy. His style mixed that classic Memphis crunk with the trap sound that Gucci had been pushing since the mid-2000s. When Gucci signed him to 1017 in 2020, it felt like the perfect passing of the torch, the OG and the next generation linking up to take over. But after this situation, that whole foundation they built just got shattered. Gucci Mane was taking a real gamble when he put his faith in an unproven artist like Pooh Shiesty, a rapper with undeniable street credibility and raw talent, but no mainstream success yet. No chart-topping hits, no loyal fan base, just raw potential in that gritty Memphis energy. But that risk, it paid off in a massive way.
The breakout single, Back in Blood, featuring Lil Durk, went absolutely insane. The streets couldn't get enough. It dominated every playlist, went multi-platinum, and instantly made Shiesty one of the hardest new names in hip-hop. His debut project, Shiesty Season, dropped soon after, and it hit big too. Critics loved it, fans played it non-stop, and that signature blur ad-lib became impossible to escape. At that point, Shiesty wasn't just another 1017 artist, he was 1017. He became the face of Gucci's new wave, the one chosen to carry the trap sound into the next era. Gucci went all out to show love and appreciation when the success started rolling in. After Shiesty Season blew up, Gucci gifted him a slime green Jeep Trackhawk, and that color wasn't random. Green has always been 1017's signature shade, a symbol of unity, power, and legacy. That gift wasn't just a car, it was Gucci saying, "You're family now." That whole moment got caught on camera and spread across social media like wildfire. Fans praised Gucci for being a real one, a boss who actually takes care of his people. The bond between them went beyond business. It felt personal, built on loyalty, hustle, and belief in each other. Gucci had already survived so much, the streets, prison, addiction, and turned himself into a legit mogul and respected figure in hip-hop. Seeing him invest that same energy into Shiesty made it feel like the trap dynasty was stronger than ever, at least for a while. Gucci has set himself up as more than just a label boss. He was a mentor, someone who could guide younger artists through the same traps and struggles he had already survived. Pooh Shiesty seemed like the perfect one to carry that torch. Young, hungry, crazy talented, and deeply connected to the streets in a way that made every bar he spit feel real. That kind of authenticity can't be faked. But then, everything flipped when the feds came knocking in 2020. Shiesty got hit with a serious case in Miami that completely derailed his rise. The whole thing reportedly involved a robbery and some firearms tied to a weed deal that went sideways at a hotel. Once the feds got involved, it was a wrap. Things moved slow, but they moved for sure. By 2021, Shiesty was officially locked up on federal gun and robbery charges, and his promising run came to a sudden stop. What stood out most during that rough stretch was how Gucci handled it. He didn't switch up, didn't ghost his artists when the money stopped rolling in, and didn't distance himself just because the situation got messy. Instead, Gucci used his voice and his platform to call for fair treatment for Shiesty while he was behind bars. In 2022, Gucci went public saying Shiesty was being mistreated in federal custody, forced into extended lockdowns, getting horrible food, and basically being ignored by the system. He made noise about it online, demanding better conditions and accountability. That move meant a lot because Gucci didn't have to do any of that. There was no contract clause, no business reason. He spoke up out of loyalty and principle. That's what made people respect him even more. He wasn't just a boss, he was standing up like a real one for his people.
He's from Memphis. He's actually Pooh Shiesty's little cousin. So him and Pooh Shiesty came up together when Big Scar died. Gucci was supposed to pay for the funeral, which they said that he didn't.
Gucci didn't have a single financial reason to keep standing by Pooh Shiesty. There was no money coming in while Shiesty sat behind bars. His support didn't come from business. It came from real loyalty and that deep mentor bond they built over time. It wasn't about contracts or charts. It was about respect and connection. Shiesty ended up doing a long stretch, over 4 years, from 2021 through late 2025, sitting in federal prison while the rap game kept moving without him. New trends came, new rappers took over, and the wave that Back in Blood started slowly lost steam as the culture shifted. The spotlight that once burned so bright on Shiesty faded, and the lane he once owned got crowded fast with fresh talent hungry for that same shine. But even while the world kept spinning, Gucci and Shiesty's public relationship never cracked. No subliminals, no sneak disses, no shady posts hinting at problems, nothing.
Then his wife posted receipts that he did pay for the funeral, but he also then asked for the chains back.
Gucci stood solid, mentioning Shiesty in interviews every now and then, always saying he believed in his comeback and was ready to see him bounce back stronger than ever. The whole vibe was about loyalty, patience, and faith, the label standing tall for his artist through the hardest chapter of his life. Then finally, in October 2025, Shiesty came home, and Gucci's reaction? Pure celebration. He jumped online with a post that said, "Time to shake the streets up. WAP proud of you." Using WAP, his own nickname, made it sound real personal, not just label talk, but family pride. The fans went crazy seeing that reunion energy, believing the two were about to reclaim the throne together. It looked like the trap world was about to get that fire back. When Pooh Shiesty finally stepped back into freedom, everyone expected a massive comeback. Fans thought he'd jump right back into the game under the 1017 banner with Gucci Mane by his side, ready to reclaim that trap crown. But behind the scenes, something had changed, and it had been building for a long time. During those 4 years Shiesty was locked up, cracks started forming in a relationship that once looked unbreakable. What looked like solid loyalty from the outside had quietly turned shaky on the inside. Those same tensions that later exploded into robbery rumors and contract drama in early 2026 had roots that stretched back months, maybe even years. The first public sign that things weren't as smooth as they seemed came fast.
That turned into a whole online beef, a whole online orchestra, and Shiesty, I guess, just wasn't really feeling the way he went about it.
Remember that welcome home post Gucci made after Shiesty's release? The one where he said, "Time to shake the streets up, WAP proud of you"? Well, word is that post got deleted not long after it went up. That move set the internet on fire. Fans instantly started speculating, why delete something so positive, so personal? The most obvious theory? Something must have gone left right after Shiesty came home. Maybe a conversation didn't go as planned, or maybe Gucci found out something that made that celebration feel fake in hindsight. Either way, the deletion felt like a warning sign that the reunion wasn't what it looked like. And then came the Big Scar situation, the real turning point that nobody saw coming. Big Scar's death hit the 1017 family hard, and it didn't just cause sadness, it exposed some deep fractures about loyalty, respect, and what it really means to ride for your people. Behind the grief, there were disagreements, accusations, and broken trust. That tragedy became the scar, literally and figuratively, that split Gucci and Shiesty apart for good, setting the stage for the wild confrontation that would later have a whole industry talking. In January 2026, tragedy hit hard when Big Scar, born Alexander Woods, passed away, and it sent shockwaves through the Memphis rap scene. Scark wasn't just another artist on Gucci Mane's 1017 Records roster. He had carved out his own lane with that raw, gritty Memphis sound that fans couldn't get enough of. His music felt real because it was real, straight from the same streets that raised him and his cousin, Pooh Shiesty. Yeah, that's right. Big Scar and Shiesty were blood. They grew up side by side, running the same blocks in Memphis long before record deals or fame ever came into the picture. Their bond was deeper than music. It was family, loyalty, and shared struggle. That's what made what happened next so painful for everyone connected to 1017. Big Scar's death, reportedly from an overdose, left the entire team heartbroken, but it also raised a storm of tough questions about who was supposed to handle what in the aftermath. When the news broke, fans expected Gucci, as both the label head and the one who often preached family over business, to step up and take care of things, especially the funeral costs. According to multiple sources, that was exactly what Pooh Shiesty and Scar's people expected too. They felt it was only right for Gucci to cover the expenses, not as a boss doing paperwork, but as someone who had always claimed his team like family. In the music game, that kind of gesture isn't rare. Label heads often handle funeral costs for artists who pass, especially when the bond runs deeper than contracts. But when word started spreading that things didn't go as expected, that unspoken family trust began to crack, and what started as grief quickly turned into tension that the streets couldn't ignore. The 1017 Records brand had always stood on loyalty, respect, and that family-first mentality. But when Big Scar passed, those values got tested hard. Rumors started flying fast across social media and hip-hop blogs, claiming Gucci Mane didn't pay for Big Scar's funeral, and the internet ran with it. The headlines painted Gucci like a cold-hearted boss who left his artist's family hanging in their darkest moment. The optics? Straight up terrible. Think about it. A millionaire label head allegedly refusing to pay for the funeral of a young rapper signed to his label, who also happened to be the cousin of his biggest star, Pooh Shiesty. That narrative hit deep and had people questioning Gucci's character, his loyalty, and even the whole 1017 his family image he'd spent years building. But the real story turned out to be more complicated than the internet made it seem. Gucci's wife, Keisha Kayor, stepped in and shut a lot of that talk down by posting actual receipts, literally. She showed proof that they had, in fact, paid for Big Scar's funeral expenses. The documentation made it clear. Gucci did handle his business, financially. On paper, he did what any real boss would do for one of his fallen artists.
But they're also saying that Shiesty's trying to sign a Yo Gotti. There's a $10 million deal that's already been sitting.
Still, the drama didn't end never. What happened after the funeral payments flipped the situation from a simple misunderstanding into a straight-up fallout. Word is, Gucci reached out and asked for Big Scar's chains to be returned, the same icy pieces he had gifted Scar during his time on 1017. That request hit differently in hip-hop culture. Chains aren't just jewelry, they're symbols of loyalty, power, and respect. So when Gucci allegedly asked them back, people saw it as a betrayal, a sign that maybe that family bond was officially broken. What could have stayed a private disagreement turned into a full-blown public rift that shook the entire 1017 legacy. To really understand why this situation blew up so heavy, you gotta get how jewelry and hip-hop works. It's not just about showing off or flexing wealth. Those chains mean something. When a label boss gives an artist a chain, it's not just a gift, it's a symbol of respect, success, and belonging. It says, you made it, you're part of the family now. Those pieces are like trophies, proof that the artist earned their spot and that the bond between them and the label runs deep. So when Gucci gave Big Scar those 4 icy chains, it wasn't just about shining, it was a statement. It meant Scar had officially arrived, stamped as part of the 1017 family. But then, after Scar passed, Gucci allegedly asking those chains back sent a completely different message. To Scar's family, it felt cold, like 1017 wasn't really about loyalty or brotherhood, but about business and ownership. It made it seem like those chains weren't earned, but loaned, and that once you were gone, everything got taken back. That's what made the whole move feel like a slap in the face. And that's where Pooh Shiesty came in, because that moment became the spark that lit everything on fire. Shiesty was still behind bars when Big Scar died, so he couldn't go to the funeral or handle things himself. Instead, he was hearing everything secondhand, from phone calls, from family, from friends, and every new piece of info shaped how he saw Gucci. Whether what he heard was fact or twisted up through gossip didn't even matter. The damage was already done.
In Shiesty's eyes, it looked like his label boss had disrespected his blood, and that was unforgivable. Before long, that tension started spilling onto social media, and the quiet loyalty that once held 1017 together started cracking right out in public for the whole world to see. Once the tension hit the internet, it was rap. Comments started flying, posts got misinterpreted, and screenshots were popping up everywhere. Which should have been a private disagreement between Gucci Mane and Pooh Shiesty turned into viral content for gossip blogs and entertainment pages. Every new post made things worse. Every caption, every like, every cryptic line only added more fuel. Pride got heavy involved, and at that point, neither side could back down without looking weak. Reputations were on the line, and both men had too much to lose to stay quiet. Then came what people started calling the contract and the escape plan, because underneath all the emotion and street loyalty, there was still a business relationship, and that part had always been tense.
I just had that conversation with somebody. I think that nigga would be in jail right the now, honestly. I think that nigga would be in jail right the now. Just because of the time.
Like most label artist deals in hip-hop, the contract between Pooh Shiesty and 1017 Records came with trade-offs that sounded fair at first, but once success hit, things started to feel tight. When Shiesty first signed with 1017 in 2020, he was still a mystery to the industry. Raw talent, street buzz, but no hit records, a loyal fan base yet. From Gucci's perspective, taking him on was a major investment, putting money into studio time, production, videos, marketing, and promotion, all before seeing a single dollar come back. That kind of gamble was risky.
Means the label takes big risks, and to balance that out, the contracts are built to protect the label first. That's why a lot of these deals come with heavy clauses, extended contracts, limited creative freedom, and money splits that lean way more in the label's favor. It's just how the industry works, especially when you're signing an unproven artist with potential but no track record. At first, that setup might have made sense to Shiesty. He just wanted a shot. But once Back in Blood went platinum and the money started flowing, those same terms that once felt fair started to feel like a trap. That's when the idea of breaking free from 1017 started to sound less like betrayal and more like survival. By late 2025, whispers started spreading that Pooh Shiesty wasn't trying to stay locked into that 1017 deal anymore. Word around the industry was that he'd been quietly looking for ways to break free, to rebuild his brand on his own terms after everything that went down while he was locked up. What started as private talk in back rooms and phone calls turned into straight-up label tension once Gucci caught wind of it. Sources close to both sides said Shiesty felt boxed in. The contract he'd signed years earlier was now holding him back. He wanted to renegotiate, maybe even start his own imprint, but Gucci allegedly wasn't trying to hear that. To Gucci, it wasn't personal, it was business. He'd invested major cash, time, and energy into Shiesty's career, and walking away clean wasn't an option. But from Shiesty's side, it looked like control, like the same system Gucci once fought against was now being used by him. That's when the talks turned heated. According to insiders, lawyers started getting involved, and meetings got tense. Every negotiation attempt fell apart because neither side trusted the other anymore. Shiesty's people claimed Gucci was trying to trap him into more obligations, while Gucci's camp insisted they just wanted what they were owed.
Do you remember the moment where the breakthrough came, where you said, when I get out, I'm done with all this dumb shit? Was it a moment where you was going through it so much, or you got a revelation where you just like, this ain't it, man, I ain't with this shit.
The alarm clock came on,
Yeah,
man.
alarm
I
clock.
been knew that shit wasn't what's up though, I ain't gonna lie, I ain't. For that, man, I'm a free world type of nigga like that, you know, ride fast car, count money, put that shit on, you know.
Somewhere in that mix of pride, paranoia, and paperwork, loyalty completely broke down. By the time January 2026 rolled around, things had already hit a boiling point behind the scenes. Some say that's when Shiesty's crew started plotting their next move, to make a statement, to send a message that he wasn't anyone's artist to control anymore. And when the robbery story involving Gucci hit the internet, people immediately tied it to the fallout from that contract drama. The timing was too close, the connections too deep, and the silence from both sides only made it louder.
What should have been a clean split between a mentor and his protege turned into chaos, a mix of street rumors, missing jewelry, and broken trust.
Wow, in them.
Yeah, no.
But do you feel as if though you're a totally different person?
I do. I feel like I done grown and matured. Like the person I was at 10 years ago, I'm not the same person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like person I used to be, I'm nowhere near that. Like I'm way more mature, I'm way nice.
What once looked like one of hip-hop's tightest duos had now turned into a cold war, with fans picking sides and the industry watching every move. The escape plan that was supposed to set Shiesty free might have just pulled him deeper into the kind of storm that ends careers and friendships for good. After the alleged LA robbery, both camps went quiet. No statements, no interviews, no clarifications. That silence only made things messier. Fans were dissecting every move online, reading hidden meanings into cryptic posts, unfollows, and story deletions. The blogs had a field day, dropping exclusive sources and insider leaks, each one twisting the story a little more. Nobody knew what was fact and what was street fiction, but one thing was clear: something had gone seriously wrong between Gucci Mane and Pooh Shiesty. Behind the scenes, tension was reportedly boiling. Gucci was said to be furious that his name was being tied to street drama again, after he'd spent years building a legit business image. To him, this wasn't just about jewelry or rumors, it was about respect and reputation. Meanwhile, Shiesty's people were pushing a totally different angle, claiming the situation had been blown out of proportion and that Gucci's camp was trying to paint their guy as disloyal to control the narrative. The streets started whispering about a private confrontation, an off-camera meeting between Gucci and a few of Shiesty's close associates. Word was that things got tense, with heated words and no resolution. Some say money got mentioned, others say it was all about pride. Either way, it didn't end peacefully. Since that day, the two camps reportedly haven't spoken directly, only through middlemen or lawyers. By February 2026, social media turned into a battleground. Fans split into camps, Team WAP and Team Shiesty, each side posting old clips, lyrics, and interviews to prove who was real and who switched up. Every throwback video or old post became evidence in an online trial that nobody could win. Gucci, usually calm when it comes to industry drama, posted one subtle message on his story, a black background with the words, "Loyalty ain't for everybody." That single line sent the internet into chaos. Everyone knew exactly who he was talking about. Shiesty never responded directly, but his team posted a picture of him in the studio with the caption, "Freedom brings clarity." It was no longer just about music, it was about trust, ego, and survival in a game where one wrong move can make or break your legacy. The silence wasn't peace, it was pressure waiting to explode. By the time spring 2026 rolled in, the situation between Gucci Mane and Pooh Shiesty had gone way past rumors. It had become a full-blown legend in hip-hop circles. The robbery talk, the deleted posts, the chain drama, the funeral tension, all of it mixed into a wild storm that nobody could fully untangle. Every news source claimed to know the real story, but truth was, only Gucci and Shiesty knew what actually went down behind closed doors. The industry stayed split. Some folks said Shiesty had every right to want out, to control his own music and his money after years of loyalty. Others said Gucci had every reason to protect his investment, especially after putting millions into Shiesty's rise. What everyone agreed on, though, was that it was sad to see one of hip-hop's strongest mentor-protege duos turn into enemies almost overnight. The once powerful 1017 brand, known for loyalty and brotherhood, now carried a shadow of division. The younger artists on the label were reportedly keeping their distance, unsure which side to align with. The tension turned the label's name from a symbol of unity into a warning about how fast things can flip when money, fame, and pride collide. Still, even with all the chaos, one thing can't be denied. Both men built a legacy that changed trap music forever. Gucci carved the path, and Shiesty carried that energy into a new era. Whether they ever reconcile or keep their distance for good, their story stands as one of the realest, showing how success and loyalty sometimes clash in ways that no contract can fix.
As the dust settles, fans are left wondering, will there ever be peace between them, or has this bond been broken for good? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure, the streets won't stop talking about this one anytime soon. If you've been locked in with this whole saga, make sure to like, subscribe, share, and drop a comment below. Tell us what you think really went down between Gucci and Shiesty, and whose side are you on? This story might be wrapping up, but the drama, it's just getting started.